Hello everybody, welcome back to DC Central. In today's video we are going to be discussing something that we have been waiting a really long time for, and that is our official reveal of David Corenswet's Superman suit for James Gunn's Superman. So let's just dive straight into it. So this photo dropped yesterday. It kind of came out the blue really. I don't think there was any kind of, lingering for it. There was no kind of announcement. It was just James Gunn dropped it and went, hey, here's the suit reveal. And there's been a lot of reactions online, as you would expect, some rather unhinged ones, actually. But I think looking at this suit, in my opinion, I think this is a really, really good suit. And if this is any kind of indication to the type of suit, the quality of suits that we're going to be getting in the DCU going forward, I think, as I said on Twitter, I think that we are in very good hands here with James Gunn, especially because with him directing this film, obviously we know he's going to be having other heroes in the film, such as like Mr. Terrific and Hawkgirl. If their suits are also going to be to the same level of quality and kind of comic bookiness as this Superman suit is, I think this is a very good place to start. But let's just dive in, let's talk about this suit. This is going to be very little editing, this is just going to be like, let's talk about the suit. I think that it looks really, really appealing. This initial image, which I'm looking at it on my computer here, I'll also put the image, of course, on screen. I think this looks really visually appealing. Now, I'm going to go through a couple of different elements of it, and then we'll discuss it. So, first of all, first element we need to delve into is the curl. The curl is, of course, a really iconic part of Superman's look, and it's one of those things that in live action, we've never really seen the curl done properly. I mean, Christopher Reeve obviously was the closest we ever had, and I think for the time at which those films were made, I think the Christopher Reeve suit is really, really good, and I liked the curl there. But we can see Corenswet here in the suit with sort of very messy looking hair with the curl coming down, and I think that that is a really kind of awesome modernized way to do it, because I think Superman, he's often characterized as obviously being a bit of a Boy Scout. His hair is often very prime and proper. It's very neat and tidy. I like the fact that with Corenswet we're kind of getting this messy hair look, which I think is really cool. I think again it's very modernized. I think it works for him. I think it suits Corenswet nicely, and the curl coming down, again, it doesn't feel like a curl that's been manufactured there. It feels like it's a curl that has naturally formed there, which I think is perfect. Like, I think that's absolutely spot on. I really, really like that. Also, moving away from that, as we sort of move further down the suit, we have a collar on Superman's suit for the very first time, which I think this is where, a lot of people have started talking about the inspirations from the suit, and this being very much drawing on the New 52, which this is very much like, if I was going to say which suit inspired this the most, it's definitely the New 52. Despite the fact you've got the Kingdom Come logo obviously in the center, which we already knew about the Kingdom Come logo, but I think generally the suit design is very heavily based on Kingdom Come, and also primarily focused and inspired by the New 52. And personally, I always liked the New 52 suit. I know a lot of people are a bit up and down on the New 52. A lot of people think it's a bit over-stylized, and I know it's just not like the most popular Superman suit, but I actually personally always quite liked the New 52 suit and the whole New 52 comic run in general. I think all the suit designs that came from within the New 52 were really, really cool, and I personally think that them using that as the kind of the drawing point, I think is really cool. And obviously the collar being there, it really suits this version of Superman in my opinion. I think it looks ideal. I think it's different. It makes his version of Superman stand out from the others. I also think it kind of gives this version of Superman like kind of this authoritarian look, which I think he does kind of need. Him being this kind of godly figure among Earth, I think giving him that collar makes him feel very superior, which I think he does kind of need to have with it being Superman. And then coming down from the collar, we can see the cape there, coming all the way down. It's definitely like a very long, flowy cape, which again, I personally quite like. I think for Superman, the long, flowy cape is very iconic for him. So I feel like them going full on with that is really good. And again, the way it's attached like to the collar, again, very, very New 52. I think that works really, really well. Moving down even further, we can see kind of the first thing that I think a lot of people are really complaining about with this suit, which is all of the lines. Obviously, there's this very common complaint about superhero costumes, particularly with the MCU at the moment, where they're kind of over-designed and they've got all these different lines going on. And I get where people are coming from. Like, I feel like those lines, they're just not necessary. I don't necessarily hate the whole line thing as much as a lot of people do. I feel like there are some suits where it can be done really, really well, but I think in this particular case with Superman, I just don't think it was necessary. I don't think it looks bad per se, but I think it would have looked better without them. I think the way that they kind of form off of the collar and kind of come down to the arms, like they don't serve any purpose. You know what I mean? Like there's no purpose to those lines being there. And I don't know if it's just a filmmaking thing where perhaps having these in the suit just makes them a bit more flexible, or it makes them, you know, a little bit more easier to handle. I don't know. There's clearly a reason why it's there, but just, you know, me talking about it as a fan who knows nothing about filmmaking and costume design, just looking at it, I don't love the lines on there. I just think it's a bit overdone. It's a bit unnecessary, like I say, and I don't really see the purpose why they're there. And I think the suit just would have looked a little bit better and a little bit cleaner if those lines weren't there. But that's just me. And then looking straight in the center of the suit, we of course have the crest, which is obviously the Kingdom Come Superman. I personally love this. I've spoken about this on the DC TV show with Ben. I personally love the Kingdom Come logo. It's my favorite Superman logo. I think it's this really cool kind of combination of the alien world of Krypton, with it obviously being the symbol of the House of L, but it kind of has that earthly connection with it looking like an S. I think it's perfect. I really, really like it. I think it stands out really well in the suit. And again, it's different, it's unique. The only version of the Kingdom Come suit we've seen in live action was, of course, in Crisis, with Brandon Routh Superman. And I mean, that is possibly my favourite Superman live action suit ever. I love that suit. So seeing that kind of replicated here on Corenswet's suit, I'm all for it. I absolutely love it. I think it's perfect. And again, I think it just kind of gives Corenswet this different style of interpretation that we haven't seen before. Moving down again, we can see kind of what might be the biggest talking point about this suit, which is the trunks. They are a little bit well hidden. You do have to do a little bit of searching to find them, but they are there. So this is our official confirmation that David Corenswet Superman is going to have the trunks. And people, if you have been listening to me again on the DC TV show, I've been talking about when we've been kind of speculating about this suit. I'm not the biggest trunks fan. I think they can work, but I'm not the biggest lover of them. But I have to say, like, I'm very much open to the idea of the trunks being on this suit, because I feel like a kind of modern take on them could sway my opinion. And I think it's difficult to give an opinion on it from here because you can barely see them. And I think that's very much by design. I think they're very much trying to tease the fact that the trunks are there. But I think it's good. I think it's going to be good, personally. Like I say, I'm not the biggest trunks fan. There's always that argument of should he have trunks or not. I've always been more on the not side. But that being said, I'm willing to be swayed, and I think looking at the image here, given how much I'm liking the suit overall, I'm willing to let James Gunn cook here and just be like, let's see what you do with the trunks. Again, I'll do a bigger video on this when we get like a proper full suit reveal where we can see them. But I feel like it's definitely an interesting talking point. So again, I'm not the biggest trunks lover, but I'm very much open to seeing how it looks, and I think that if there's any Superman suit that's going to convince me, it's going to be this one. And then moving down once more, we can see the boots, and I absolutely love the boots. The bright red boots, they're really standing out. Like, that's one thing I really wanted from this version of Superman, is a suit it's bright, it's colourful, it stands out, it looks heroic, it looks positive, it looks hopeful. And I think that the boots on the suit here is like the most perfect way they could have done it. Like, it looks phenomenal, they look great, they look versatile, and they just look like Superman. Like, I'm looking at this image, I'm like, that's Superman right there. Like, that looks like Superman to me. And I'm absolutely loving the boots. I think they look fantastic. I think that's one thing that a lot of versions of Superman have been missing, has been the really bright boots. So I'm really happy that James Gunn has given Corenswet those bright red boots. It just stands out so much. And again, as I mentioned like a second ago, the colour of the suit in general, it's so bright, it pops, and I love that. You know, that was my biggest complaint about Henry Cavill's suit. I like Cavill's suit in general, but it was very dark, it was very muted, it didn't allow those colours to kind of pop on screen. Whereas here, yeah, I'm liking this. This is popping, this is good. I think this is going to be a really, like, obviously this image itself is a little bit darker, so it's not popping, I think, as much as it will do in some other, like, daylight scenes. But even beyond that, I think that this suit is just far more colourful and has got far more life to it than what we've seen previously. So overall, my opinion on the suit, I really like it. I think it's really cool. Like I said, I've got a couple of things. Like, I'm not too huge on the lines being on there. I just think it's unnecessary. And again, the trunks is kind of a wait and see, because I can't really say my opinion on them right now because we can't really see them in this image. But overall, from what I can see, I'm really, really liking this suit. I think it looks really strong, really heroic, really colourful. And again, like, from what I was looking for in this Superman suit, I wanted it to be bright, I wanted it to be classic looking, which is why I was open to the trunks idea. I want this to be a classic Superman suit, and from the look of it, that's what we're getting. Like, it's classic, but with a little touch of modern, and I really, really like that. I think that James Gunn is going to be doing some really interesting stuff in this film, and with Corenswet's Superman. And as I mentioned at the beginning, if this suit is any kind of indication of the type and the quality of suits that we're going to be getting within not only Superman, but the DCU at large, I think we're in very good hands here with James Gunn. I think that this is a really nice costume. This is a great reveal, and I imagine that James Gunn must be planning on doing some filming outdoors at some point in the near future. That's why he's revealed this image. Obviously, it's better to get ahead of the set photos and just release it professionally. So, yeah, I'm really happy with it. But make sure you let me know your thoughts on this suit in the comment section down below. How are you feeling about it? Be honest, say your opinion. Obviously, there's been a lot of diverse opinions about this suit on the internet. So, own your opinion, say what you think, let us know in the comments down below what you think, and yeah, let's have a nice discussion about it down below. Now, I would also be remiss to not mention the background going on here. There is, obviously, we can see Metropolis in the background. Now, I'm not going to talk about Metropolis too much because you can barely see it. The image is kind of blurred in the background. It looks like a big city, which, yeah, cool. I think it would have been nice maybe if they chucked in maybe like a little tease of like the Daily Planet building or something, but, whatever, that's not the focus of this. But in the background, in the sky, you could of course see that big kind of sky beam going on. Now, there's been a lot of speculation as to what this is. I've seen, some people say it could be something to do with Lex, who of course we know is the main villain in the movie. It could be, I've seen some people suggest it could be Solaris. I've seen some people suggest it could be Mongol. I mean, if I'm going to take a guess, I'm leaning more towards Solaris than anything else. If you're unaware, Solaris was a villain in the Superman comics that Lex Luthor teamed up with, particularly during All-Star Superman, which James Gunn has said that this movie is very much inspired by All-Star Superman. So I'm going to say that this could likely be Solaris. He is this kind of sentient sun kind of character who, like I say, Lex teams up with in All-Star Superman. So this could be like, the kind of big threat that Superman is having to deal with. And that's why there's so many other heroes in this movie as well. Like I say, like Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, Metamorpho, and of course Green Lantern. So that would explain why there are so many other heroes in the movie who are having to join forces to stop this large threat. And then obviously you've got Lex, who's going to be behind it all. So yeah, I'm going to say, based on what I can see here, this is probably Solaris, but I could be wrong. This could be anything. Like, this literally could be anything. It's purely based on what James Gunn has said about the comic inspirations for this film, why I'm leaning towards Solaris, but this could literally be anything. Again, when you're in the comments, let me know what do you think's going on in the background here, because it really could be anything at this point. But there you have it, guys. That's my thoughts on the Superman suit reveal. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, whatever you think, whether you like the suit, whether you don't like the suit, what do you think's going on in the background, and are you excited about the movie and the DCU? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to see more DC content like this, you want to keep up to date with all of my DC videos, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads from me, and I hope to see you guys again next time.